Welcome to Apple Tree channel. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Focus on listening. Сьогодні у нас фокус на аудіювання. Працюємо з вами на сторінках 237, 8, 9, 240 сторінці, 241 нашого підручника. І так, перше завдання у нас Share your knowledge on the following questions. Спробуємо дати відповідь на дані питання. Use the map and the table below. Використовуючи мапу і табличку нижче. So, what do you know about Canada? Що ви знаєте про Канаду? What is its capital? So, the capital of Canada is Ottawa. What does Canada border on? З ким межує Полтава? З якою країною? So, Canada borders on the USA. What time zones are there in Canada? Які часові зони є в Канаді? I think there are 6 standard time zones in Canada. 6, здається, зон. What do you know about Canadian history? Що ви знаєте про історію Канади? Where did the original inhabitants and the name of the country come from? I know that the word Canada means Canada, village or settlement. Я знаю, що назва Канада походить від каната, здається, місцевою мовою раніше називалася, і це позначає village, село або поселення велике. So, what do you know about the lakes in Canada? Що ви знаєте про озера в Канаді? Oh, I know that there are a very big number of lakes. Дуже багато. Ну, the most famous are the Great Lakes. Звичайно, найвідоміші це великі озера у Канаді, так звані. What are the rivers of Canada? Які ріки є в Канаді? Ну, тут у нас нічого не видно, не? What are the rivers of Canada? So, Canada has got lots of rivers. And the longest river is Mackenzie River. Are there some national parks in Canada? Чи є національні парки в Канаді? What are the mountains, вибачте. What are the mountains of Canada? Так, of course, so there are some mountains in Canada too. So the highest mountain in Canada is Mount Logan at about 6,000 meters high. So, are there some national parks in Canada? Чи є національні парки в Канаді? Yes, there are. There are lots of national parks. There are 38 national parks and 8 national park reserves. Which materials are produced in Canada? Який матеріал виготовлюється в Канаді? So, які матеріали мається на увазі, так? So, Canada is rich in mineral resources. So, and actually, Canada produces cars, electric cars, solar cells, some tools to smartphones, and so on. So, what political status does it have? Який політичний статус вона має? So, Canada is a constitutional monarchy. Це конституційна монархія. So, the monarch is head of state. Тобто, монарх британський є головою цієї країни, але там є прайм-міністр, прем'єр-міністр. Ну, так само, як і в Британії. What is the symbol of Canada? So, the symbol of Canada is a maple leaf. The maple leaf. Так, це листочок клену. How is it divided? Як вона поділена? So, Canada is divided into provinces and territories with the capital. There are 10 provinces and 3 territories. Ну, отже, це вони ці regions and their capital cities. Ось ці регіони, так, і capital cities. І у кожному є своє столиця. So, do you know any Canadian cities? Ottawa. I know Ottawa, Quebec, Ontario. I've heard about them earlier. Yeah. So, before. Now listen to some information about Canada and complete the sentences below. Ну а зараз ми послухаємо інформацію про Канаду і доповнимо речення нижче за цим аудіюванням.
Canada.
Canada is the second largest country in the world after Russia. Its capital is Ottawa. Total area of land is 9,984,670 square kilometers. 9,093,507 square kilometers without water. The country has a seashore on the Arctic Ocean, giving it the longest coastline of any country. In the south, Canada shares an 8,892 kilometers boundary with the United States. Canada's neighbor across the Arctic Ocean is Russia. From west to east, Canada encompasses 6 time zones. There are some 2 million lakes in Canada. The longest river is the Mackenzie. Canada's terrain incorporates a number of mountain ranges. Canada maintains 38 national parks. Because of the harsh northern climate, only 12% of the land is suitable for agriculture. Canada is rich in raw materials. It also produces wheat, leather, timber. Half of the country is covered with forests and maple syrup. Since 1965, the country has had its own national flag with a red maple leaf. Canada is a big producer of maple syrup made from maple sap. Canada is divided into 10 provinces: Quebec, Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Manitoba, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia, and the 3 territories, the Yukon, Nunavut, and NWT, the Northwest Territories. Inhabitants are 32,805,041 people. Half of the population is British, 30% French, and the rest are Indians and Eskimos, or Inuits. The largest cities are Toronto and Montreal, which is also the second largest French-speaking city in the world and a major inland seaport. The other famous town is Vancouver, and of course the capital Ottawa.
Okay, so Canada is the second largest country in the world. The country has the longest coastline on the east along the Atlantic Ocean. Canada borders on the USA in the south. Russia is its neighbor. There are 2 million lakes in Canada. 12% of land is suitable for agriculture. Canada is rich in raw minerals. Raw minerals – сировина. Its capital is Ottawa and 3... не туди написала. And 3 territories. Вибачте. Its capital is Ottawa. So, the national flag is a Canadian national symbol with a maple leaf on it. Yes, і додати можна ще with a maple leaf. Так, Canada is divided into 10 provinces and 3 territories. Сюди це вираз. Canadian population consists of British, French, Indians and Eskimos. Some of the large and famous cities are Toronto and Montreal, Vancouver and Ottawa. Yes, that's all about our listening. So listen to the speaker and say if the sentences below are true or false. Наступна частина аудіювання. Будемо говорити тепер про політичне життя Канади. Отже, у нас є The House of Commons and Canada's Prime Minister. Ми говорили, що це у нас конституційна монархія, page 239. Давайте з вами перечитаємо. Отже, Canada is a constitutional monarchy. Ну, я гадаю, тут одразу можна погодитися. Канада – це конституційна монархія. It is ruled by the Queen of the UK. Вона керується королевою Великобританії, але зараз королем. The leading figure in the political life of the country is the Governor General. The federal parliament consists of the Senate and the House of Commons. Федеральний парламент складається із Сенату та будинку общин. Senators can write new laws. Сенатори можуть писати нові закони. The people of Canada elect members of the House of Commons. Люди Канади обирають членів будинку общин. The Prime Minister is responsible for the Senate. Прем'єр-міністр відповідальний за Сенат. The judges are appointed by the Prime Minister. Судді назначаються прем'єр-міністром. Canada has 3 branches of power in its political system. Канада має 3 гілки влади у своїй політичній системі. Ну, як і у нас, так? Це legislative, executive and judicial. Yes? In all the provinces, there is a legislative assembly elected by their people for 5 years. У усіх провінціях є законодавча асамблея, яка обирається людьми на 5 років. The seat of the federal parliament and government is Ottawa. Головне місце, так, засідання федерального парламенту і уряду Оттава. In Canada there are 3 major parties. В Канаді 3 основні партії. Ну, давайте з вами послухаємо.
Political system of Canada. Canada is a self-governing federal state and a member of the British Commonwealth of Nations. The form of the government of Canada is a constitutional monarchy. It is ruled by a parliamentary system, but formally the head of the state is the King or Queen of the UK, and the appointed Governor-General is the monarch's representative, who is named by the Canadian Cabinet. However, the Governor-General performs only certain formal and symbolic tasks, and the leading figure in the political life of the country is the Prime Minister. The federal parliament consists of the Senate and the House of Commons. The Senate numbers 104 members, senators who are not elected. They are appointed and have little power because they cannot write new laws. Senators can only approve or reject the laws passed by the House of Commons, excepting the laws that deal with taxes or expenses. Senators can serve until they retire at the age of 75. The House of Commons has 295 members elected by universal suffrage for 5 years. The people of Canada elect members of the House of Commons. To vote in national elections, a person must be at least 18 years old and a Canadian citizen. The cabinet is headed by the Prime Minister, usually the leader of the party which has the majority in the House of Commons. The ministers are members of the House of Commons, but the Prime Minister may name one minister from the Senate. The Prime Minister is responsible to the House of Commons. Canada also has many courts. In the courts, judges deal with people accused of breaking the laws. The judges are appointed by the Prime Minister. They serve until they retire. As in the USA, people who are unhappy with the judge's decision can take their case to a higher court. The highest court in Canada is the Supreme Court. It decides the most important cases in the country. So Canada has 2 branches of power in its political system: legislative branch and judicial branch. In all the provinces, there is a legislative assembly elected by the people for 5 years. The seat of the federal parliament and government is Ottawa, the federal capital. The legislative assemblies and governments of provinces have their seat in the provincial capitals. In Canada, there are 5 major parties: Conservative, Liberal, Unionist, New Democratic, and Progressive Conservative. They differ only in foreign policy, their attitude to the USA, to the question of the French and English elements of the population, and to provincial policies.
Okay, so that's also Canada is constitutional monarchy. So it is not ruled by the Queen of the UK, so or King. Yeah, so it's so she or he is just formal head of the country. So the federal parliament consists of the Senate and the House of Commons. Yes, that's true. Senators cannot write new laws. People of Canada do elect members of the House of Commons. The Prime Minister is not responsible for the Senate. The judges are definitely appointed by the Prime Minister. Canada has two branches of power, only legislative and judicial. So in all the provinces, there is a legislative assembly elected by their people for 5 years. That's true. So the seat of the federal parliament and government is really in Ottawa. And so in Canada, there are 5 major parties. 5, not 3. So exchange your answers with your partner and listen again and check your partner's answers. So let's turn to the next page. So task 4, page 240. So copy the scheme below and complete it with the words from the box. Итак, governing Canada. Нам треба доповнити з вами цю табличку. Prime Minister, Legislative Branch, House of Commons, King or Queen of the UK, Senate, Head of Government, Judicial Branch, Governor General, appointed, chosen, elected, Supreme Court, Cabinet, other courts. Итак, King or Queen of the UK is formal head of the country. Yes. So the Governor General is the monarch's representative. So next, there are 2 branches. Yes, legislative branch, legislative branch, and judicial branch. They don't have executive branch. Judicial branch. So, legislative branch, Senate, Так, and it's appointed, назначається. And House of Commons. House of Commons, палата общин, палата, не будинок, а палата, забула. Так, House of Commons. Це вже вони elected, обрані. Elected. Окей. Так, далі. Що воно переходить? Cabinet or Head of Government? Yes. Cabinet. Звичайно, завдання достатньо складне. Cabinet. Head of Government. Head of Government. Yes, no, and actually, Prime Minister. Prime Minister. Prime Minister. Minister. So, and he must be chosen. Then, judicial branch is represented by Supreme Court. Supreme Court. Головний Верховний суд. So, and of course, other courts. Other courts. Меншими судами. Other courts. Great. Quite difficult task. So, look through the fact file of Canada. Прогляньте факти про Канаду. So, Canada makes up 1/7 of the world fresh water. В Канаді 1/7 частина запасів питної води всього світу. In the south, where Canada enjoys a temperate climate, the plains of Alberta, Saskatchewan and Manitoba are among the richest grain-producing regions in the world. На півдні рівнини Альберти, Саскачевана, Манітоби серед найкращих регіонів, де росте зерно. The Canadian economy is based, as it always has been, on abundant natural resources. These natural riches include fish, timber and wood products, minerals, natural gas, oil and hydroelectricity. Економіка Канади основана, як завжди це було, на рясних запасах, природних запасах. Ці природні багатства включають рибу, ліс і продукти деревини, мінерали, природний газ, нафту та гідроелектрику. The principal mining province is Alberta. Головна провінція, там, де у нас шахти, добувають щось, це Альберта. The provinces of Quebec, Ontario and British Columbia, with their great forest supply wood for building, furniture and production of paper. Провінції Квебек, Онтаріо і Британська Колумбія зі своїми лісами постачають деревину для будівництва, для меблів і для випуску паперу. The most important manufactured product is motor vehicle, and the metal and chemical industries are highly developed too. Найбільш важливими продуктами, які виготовляються там, є моторні засоби пересування. Тобто vehicle – це будь-який транспортний засіб. І металева і хімічна індустрії також дуже високо розвинені. As Canada has many lakes and rivers, the hydroelectric industry is highly developed. Its main centers are in the provinces of Quebec and Ontario. Через те, що Канада має багато озер і рік, гідроелектрична промисловість також високо розвинена. Її основні центри в провінціях Квебек та Онтаріо. Great! So what work in a group of three and compare Canada to Ukraine? Треба порівняти Канаду з Україною. What do they have in common and what is different? Що вони мають спільного і в чому різниця? So Ukraine and Canada, both Ukraine and Canada are rich in natural resources. Yeah? I think there are lots of differences between Canada and Ukraine. Але відмінностей більше, звичайно. So, make a quiz how much do you know about Canada. Створіть квіз, вікторину, наскільки ви багато знаєте про Канаду. Звичайно, спираючись на оці питання, які були у нас на початку нашого уроку. А я з вами прощаюся, на все добре. Goodbye, good luck. На наступному уроці зустрічаємося на уроці speaking, говоріння. See you!